This is going to be amazing on my TikTok feed. Boo. It doesn't work usually a lot of times, and we are going to break down why it does not and how can you find content that is going to work. Welcome back to TikTok Farming. Today we are on chapter 13 and we're going to talk about the VSC framework. This is one of the most important things you can carry over from TikTok farming. And one interesting part about the VSC framework is that it doesn't only apply to TikTok farming, it can also apply to organic content you're producing with creators. It can also apply to any kind of content you try to create to scale your app or product. Cool. VSC stands from, in very short, virality, scalability, convertibility, or / what's worth farming. All right, so let's look a bit deeper into it. Now, the cool part about VSC is that it filters what is worth farming, right? Not what is looking cool, not what you decide after having a cup of coffee. Hey, this is going to be amazing on my TikTok feed. It doesn't work usually a lot of times, and we are going to break down why it does not and how can you find content that is going to work. Because farming is a lot about copying stuff that is working, but you got to know what to copy. Another important part in this is I truly believe virality cannot be invented, it can be engineered. And my goal is to help you understand how to engineer that virality. So let's pick up the first element of the VSC framework, which is V for virality. Now, virality is about spotting the real signals. Now, it's not about going and finding content that went viral once. What you do is you try to scan through multiple creators using it. You try to understand what are the repeated formats, and you scan the comments to understand the follow-ups. Now, this is a very natural plug, but this is why we have built Handler, which is a web marketing agent for TikTok. What it basically does is it spies on winning TikToks, on outlier TikToks, and it finds out why they're winning and provides that to you. So I'll show you a demo in a second towards the second half. But again, this is not a sales video I'm doing. This is for you to understand how to work around TikTok farming, what frameworks you utilize. First thing you're going to look for, and you can do this by yourself as well, you don't need the handler, find content that goes viral. How do you find it? Go and scan accounts that do not have a lot of followers. Why? Because if you go for accounts with a lot of followers, you don't know if the content went viral because that account had a lot of followers or because the content by inherently was viral. First thing is picking the V part of the framework, finding content that went viral on accounts with under 5,000 followers. Then scalability. Guys, this is something we miss out on so often, right? You might have a really cool 9-minute video of you talking to the camera that goes viral, but if you can't scale it, you can't farm with it. Right? You're putting up this TikTok farm with multiple iPhone accounts. How do you expect to scale if you can't create the content at mass 50x? So remember, question to ask yourself on the scalability element, can a VA reproduce at 50x? Does it require personality? If yes, then it's not farmable and I would be steering away from it. And then the last one is convertibility. Now, comments reveal intent. What we want the content to do in the end is for it to pull users and get them to use our product. We cannot have this if the users are not on the content because they're being pulled by it. If the users are only there because it's a photo of a lady who's half clothed, that's not really going to convert for your product, is it, right? Now, what we want here is we want comments where people are asking, where do I get this? How do I do this? This explains my situation. We notice a lot of awareness around content like this, which is much easier for us to take and convert. So remember, number 1, virality, number 2, scalability, number 3, convertibility, and this in nutshell is the VSC framework. I'm going to break down some elements of it in the later slides. Amazing. Now we are on the virality part. How do we define what is viral, what is not, what should we pick out of it? If you're coming on the content by yourself, keep in mind, if you only see it once while scrolling TikTok, ignore it. Why? Because it's probably a single viral post. It hasn't been replicated. Trust me, when we put a video on TikTok, it operates on this curve, where in the initial parts, you can see the video picking traction. Not a lot of people have it at that moment, but as soon as people see signals, they start to create copies of the same content. And you'll notice that the curve starts to go up, 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 up. And this is the right moment to capture that curve until it reaches the top and plateaus. When it's plateauing, that's when a lot of players start holding on. You'll see a lot of players doing the same kind of format. Example was Couple Joy started with this couple widget format back in 2025 January. After that, in a couple of months, every single app was doing it. Same format, same features, etc. That's called plateauing. And usually what happens is when you achieve a plateau, after a while, it starts to dip down as well. Now, our goal is to catch this trend when it's rising, not when it's falling down. So keep that in mind. Now, what are the real signals? One, repeated uploads of the same format. If you notice a couple of creators repeating it again, it is a good sign. If you notice 50,000 creators doing it again, it's probably not a good sign. And so similarly, multiple creators using it, consistent comments asking follow-ups. This is a gold gem which a lot of people don't tap into. If people are asking for follow-ups, it shows that the trend is not a single video trend. You can recreate content around it again and again and again. And then the last part, what we track with the pull score, saves and rewatches, not just likes. Why is this important? Because this helps you understand how many people are finding it valuable enough to rewatch it, to save it, instead of just dropping a quick like on it. What are the fake signals? As I already mentioned, you do not want a single viral post. You do not want a creator with huge following, because you don't know if the content went viral because of the content or because of the creator. And also you don't want copycats from smaller accounts, because that is just going to end up diluting. This is when you're achieving the plateau part of the curve. Amazing. Now, scalability. What are the 3 questions I want you to be asking yourself? If no to any one of these, it is not farmable. Keep this clear. Can it be made 50 times? Why? Because, okay, maybe you test it on 5 different accounts, but you're going to try and replicate it on 50 other accounts if it's working well, which means that you should be able to create it at scale as well. Can a VA reproduce it without your taste? Can you put a playbook behind it and ensure that the VA follows the playbook and it gets similar kind of content without you QAing it always? Because if you start to QA it, becomes a big pain in the ass, and you can't do that for a farming level of content. Does it require personality to work? Similar thing with the taste. If it requires personality, how to do that when you're using AI creators over a period of time or period of content? I do believe that we are 6 months away from a SOTA model, which is going to make Seedream 2.5 look like a baby. Seedream 2.5 is already realistic as fuck, but we are not far off from something that just takes a prompt and then boom, boom, boom. You can't even tell it's a real human or not. And I come to my favorite part, convertibility, reading the comments. A lot of people do not do this and then wonder, my video got 100k views, my video got 1 million views, why do I have no downloads? It's because you picked something that doesn't convert. It is easy to farm views, guys. It is much harder to farm something that converts. And my goal here is to teach you how do you find something that's going to convert for you. Now, high convertibility, where do I get this? How do I do this? This explains my situation, right? Simple and straightforward. What we're trying to target with high convertibility is pick items where the pull exists, which means users are asking heavily for the product behind this. They're curious, they understand that this links with the situation really well. High convertible content is what we are aiming for, and we can scan this through the comments. What we do not want is just people dropping jokes and memes in the chat. Usually means that they didn't really get the point of the content, or it's not having a strong pull. Generic praise, if people are like, cool, amazing, incredible. Bro, cool, amazing, incredible doesn't convert. People asking, where do I get this fucking product? I needed this my entire life, converts much better. Lol, fire emojis, so true. The other guys probably comment seeding back into their comment. This might not even be genuine. So be careful of this. We don't want these low convertibility signals. We want these high convertibility signals for it to convert better. Now, remember, as an app, you need problem-aware viewers, you need repeatable pain points, you need curiosity loops, you need entertainment without intent, and you need whatever is behind my head, which we can't look at right now. Cool. Now, why do most viral formats fail? This is the danger marker, guys. This is where it's a red flag and it's like, oh, fuck, don't do this, don't do this. Cool. Now, why most viral formats fail apps? Because views are not equal to installs. I cannot emphasize this enough. Audience fit matters much more than just getting views on your content. I would rather have a piece with 100k views on it rather than something with 1 million views that doesn't convert at all. Views are vanity metrics. You want views, but you want views that convert, not views which do not convert. Now, viral formats often are aimed at entertaining without intent, attracting the wrong audience, not the payers for your product, spiking views and killing retention, right? This is the aim of viral formats because they want to go viral. Keep this in mind when you're scouring through content. This is not what we are going for. We want farmable formats. Well, where we have problem-aware viewers, important. Where we have repeatable pain point, super important. And curiosity loops that convert, I would say super important, but I would sound like an novice saying that, so I'll say super square important. It sounds more sophisticated. But yeah, curiosity loops that convert, guys. So problem aware viewers, where the problem already exists and the viewers recognize it, saying something in the comments like, oh, this, I've been through this, or I understand this, or I resonate with this. Problem aware viewers. Repeatable pain points, something that happens on a regular manner, not something once a year, but something that happens on a daily, weekly, monthly manner. Curiosity loops that convert. People become curious about what is happening. They ask more questions. They want the product. They want the app. They want to find this. They're like, why did no one build this before, etc. This is what we exactly look for. And you know what's coming out, guys. It is the golden star. Well, this deserves a fattened star. It sounds like an ugly star, but we get the point. This deserves the star, and this is what we're looking for. All right, this is the perfect moment for me to plug in Handler. So super cool. Now, as you can see in Handler, what we're doing right now is we're sorting through videos which are going to be most recent. Most of the videos are uploaded when they're a day old, 2-day old. We're scrapping on a very continuous basis what kind of content is winning. And as we're going through the content, we can see more stats around the content, including how big an outlier is it, right? So if we've seen the content, it's 10x outlier. Okay, sounds cool. We would like to bring it in. Now I'm trying to find posts with incredible amount of views to showcase to you how does the breakdown work. Let's try to find content right now. Now we see all of these content pieces have a lot of views, but we can see that they have a really low pull score. Why is that happening? It's probably because this video was boosted with Spark ads, and that is why it didn't lead to the same amount of comments or engagement on it. Remember, Spark ads help you get a lot of views on the content, but they necessarily don't translate to views that get you engagement on the content or conversions, right? Now, I'm going to show you another example of what is a really good content that has a high pull score, and this is how we saw it, right? So even though I'm looking at the content pieces here which have lower view count, probably because they've not been boosted by Spark ads, we can notice that they have a really high pull score. What that determines is, I'm going to show you inside. Now, this is a silent relationship hook you can use to market a lifestyle app, define what the hook is. And as you will see in the pull score, it lays it out quite clearly. Now, when we're going inside it, we also run a comment analysis for you to find out, okay, how are the comments in this? Are they showing interest to convert? Are they showing interest not to convert? Boom. So as we can see, this is a highly converting post, and this is something we would want to replicate for our app. Now, just wanted to show you briefly how we find the viral posts which are worth converting. I have built this using the VSC Framework. Amazing, like every time we come to the end, guys. Now remember, virality isn't farmable, viral isn't farmable, farmable isn't always viral. Do not confuse both those things. Know what you need. We are app makers, we are product people. We want something that converts. We do not want something that just goes viral. Next chapter, we're going to be talking about hooks and scripts, massively important part, where how do you understand the view diagnostic, retention curve, script rules, emotional pacing, and AI content. Now, as I finish off, guys, remember, lessons learned the hard way. I'm sharing these so you don't have to, completely free. These come right off the TikTok farming playbook. I'm putting everything on the playbook for free on these chapters. However, if you want it all together, go and get the playbook. You don't need to though. If you just want to watch all these videos, you can, and you can get all the lessons in there. As I always say, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your time. If this was helpful, send it to your brother, your sister, your wife, your neighbor's neighbor, your neighbor's neighbor's neighbor. Anyone who can use this and farm TikTok, send it over to them. Thank you guys. Boom.